Hey everyone, it's kind of deja vu. The car's already at the same spot as last year. If you'll remember, last year we were doing the transmission, brakes, and all that, and I had mentioned that we would have a suspension. And well, now's the time. I am so excited. We are installing Bilstein B14 coilovers. The car's gonna handle a whole lot better. Yes, it may be a bit stiffer, but it will inspire more confidence. And also, being just the height. So me and my dad, we always wanted to lower this car just a tiny bit. Now this is going to be on an X-Drive model, so we do have an extra axle to deal with, but I don't think we should have any issues with that. Okay, so per the repair manual, we're gonna remove this, and I actually think this is gonna help us a lot. We also need to remove the link kit right here, so let's get to it. So my dad's gonna help me undo the 2 bolts in the back right here. Now, if you want to reuse your brake lines, I really suggest you to hold this caliper up. Since we're upgrading them to stainless steel ones, we don't really care. So we're just going to drop the caliper off right here on the side. Let's take this disc off. All right, now let's remove our link kit, 16 millimeter. All right, she's spinning, so we'll have to undo this manually. Okay. Now, unfortunately, the link kit kind of hides the ride height level sensor, but you need to unbolt it from your lower arm because we have to unbolt this lower arm here to give us more play. Right now, let's just unbolt that lower control arm. Well, now that arm can drop. And this gives us all the play we need to finally remove our complete front end strut. Well, we can't really see it from this angle, but from the back, there's a bolt pinching the strut inside the hub. And so you have to undo that to release the tension. And you simply have to get yourself an 18 millimeter and loosen that bolt up. Essentially, we were able to remove the nut, but the bolt, as you can see, kind of expanded due to corrosion and is completely seized in the hub. And yeah, we've been putting some heat on it, and it has not budged at all. But funny enough, the shock still came out. So I guess mission accomplished. I mean, apparently the studs went through the bolts, but I guess we'll have to try to figure out something for the bolts. See if we just leave it there or try to get it out, whatever. So normally you would have taken out the nut and the bolt, and then you would have been able to split open the hub and take out your strut. So let's say all that has been done. Now our strut is free. We can finally remove the 3 nuts holding our strut and take it out. Okay, so simply give us access to that one under the stiffening bar. We're just gonna have to loosen this up and move it around. Obviously, I've loosened the bolts in the middle right there, so we'll be able to move the stiffening bar out of the way. And now we can loosen those 13 millimeter nuts. Yikes. Yeah, that top mount is toast. Yeah, good thing we're changing it too. Just show you guys. This is the old strut, and this was the top mount. We were hearing this crunching noise. And just look at the play. This one is absolutely toast. So not only did we get the coilover, we also got a new top mount First thing you want to do, if you want to reuse all this here at the top for your coilovers, is you have to remove this little dust cap. This prevents any junk from going inside and ruining your bearings. Once you've removed your dust cap, you want to, well, compress your spring first of all, because these are bombs. But yeah, once your spring is compressed, you can simply just loosen your nut and carefully remove everything and release the tension from your spring. Unfortunately for us, we do not have the proper tooling, but we do have some really big ratchet straps, and we'll probably do it the very sketchy way. So my dad has a bit more experience with compressing springs the sketchy way, so I'll let him do it. We also have a bucket to catch whatever shoots out, if it ever shoots out, so yeah. Wow, that went better than I thought. Okay, so now we have all of our top things. We're just gonna clean them up, and then I'll show you how to reassemble your coilover. So here's our coilover Bilstein B14. I do want to mention, make sure you're putting the correct side on the correct side of the car, because they do have an orientation. So this one is left, so this is driver's side. And you also have these locating pins to align your coilover. Then you also get a dust boot and coilover itself. As you can see right here, this one has a flat bottom, and this is what is going to go on the adjustable height thing. And then the normal spring part will just go into the spring perch with the rubber parts. Let me put the spring first. Next, what you want to do is take the upper part of your old strut assembly. You want to align this rubber part at the end of your spring. So just like this. Next, once this is done, you want to put your, I think this is to prevent like sound or squeaks or whatever. So this plate has a little gasket or like rubber part on this part. So you want to put the metal part on the plate and the little gasket rubber part towards your top mount. So you put it like this. With your new top mount, you also want to make sure to put this little washer right here. That way you're preventing dust and grime to get inside and for all the grease to get out. Don't forget to put this back. Then you can just put it in like this. Now obviously I'm gonna have to compress the spring and put the nuts at the top, but this was for demonstration. Now we'll be able to assemble this coilover. I do recommend for you guys, if you don't have a spring compressor like us, to just lower the coilover as much as possible, and then you'll have enough threads by pushing down on it without any spring compressor, which is good news, but for us it wasn't fully set down. So this way we can make sure that we don't strip the threads or whatever, we ruin anything with the nut. That's gonna try to compress it. Then for 19 millimeter, just take your nut down and just slam it in. And we'll finish off, put your dust cap back on, and you're all set. Now let's go install it back inside the car. Don't forget to put your little plate at the top. It's very crucial to put it. I'm gonna go put the nuts at the top, so we can hold the strut assembly. Let's get this inside. Be careful with your axle, don't drop your hub too much. And now make sure to align your pins in the back. While you're doing this, make sure to spread the knuckle so you can actually lift it easy, the side of your strut. So actually in this case, I didn't even need to spread the knuckle. It actually just slid right in, so it's even better. So now we're just aligning the bracket. So we were able to put a couple threads in. All right, so now use the impact and tighten your bolts. And well, there you go. Yeah, sorry guys if I don't have the best visibility, but the bolt is right in the back right here, and it just sandwiches the suspension together. And you just have to make sure that the bracket holding the brake line and all the ABS lines had to be bolted in with the big bolt. So now let's put back our sensor in. Okay. Now, since my dad's already down there, he's gonna bolt the arm back up. Il est compliqué. So obviously, the bolt that we removed, that's a bushing, so you can't tighten it completely until we're back at right height. Just bolt it back up, don't tighten it, and then we'll officially tighten it once the car is back on its wheels. And then also don't forget the right height sensor. Perfect, now we can finish off with our linkette. Now we're pretty much ready to put back our brake disc. Now let's just try to align our caliper. All right, let's just put the bar in. Okay, terribly sorry. I think the footage cut, but I realize now that it doesn't really matter if it cut, because again, you already have the previous video from last year where I showed how to do this. But yeah, we have access to our nut, we have access to our strut, so we can now move down. All right, let's move on to the back. Terribly sorry, I don't have the best viewing angles for this, but essentially this is similar to my E92 rear shock replacement. You're supposed to be able to fit a 15mm right here to counter hold your shock once you remove the 16mm nut at the bottom, but I simply can't seem to remove it, so I guess we'll just try to send it by removing the nut with an impact. Will it fit though? That's the question. Of course it won't. So let's take our 16mm wrench. All right, and that's our nut taken off. We can now move on to the top. All right, and then once the nut at the bottom is undone, we can also undo the top. That way, once we remove our spring, we should be fine. So what I do is I have a 16mm and I counter hold the nut right here. And then you have a T30 socket to counter hold it in case that it slips. You can clearly see these are absolutely toast. I don't think you can see the bolt because of the brake disc, but next step is we need to hold our hub with a jack or whatever. That way the spring doesn't shoot on us when we loosen the nut and the bolts, holding the lower control arm. Okay, so I compressed it a bit. Now you want to get your 18mm and an 18mm wrench to counter hold your nut while you're removing the bolts. Sorry, my mistake. It's 21mm for the bolt and the nut. All right, that one was quite tough. All right, yeah, there you go. Slowly take the jack down. That way your spring doesn't shoot out. And that's how you safely remove a rear spring, guys. There you go. From the bottom, maybe. God. All right, our shock is finally removed. Now, our spring should be able to come out. Please come out, spring. Thank you. You might have seen this fall out. Actually, this is really good for our coilover installation because we need to remove this anyway. This gets replaced by the adjustment. The little rubber piece right here for your spring, that one stays. That's where you're gonna put your coilover spring in here. Then the adjustment is gonna mount up here to the chassis. Okay, time for reassembly of the new shock. So here's our Bilstein B14 shock. You have to do a bit of assembly though before. So you've probably seen how this goes, but you need to put a metal plate first, right here. Then there's this little bushing right here with a dowel in the middle. This helps you to center the shock inside of the car. So this goes onto the metal plates. You get a little dust boot right here that you put all over this. And that's pretty much it. You have another rubber thing that goes inside of the car, but I'll show you guys that later. And this right here is your lowering spring. As you can see, this side right here is flat, and this goes like this onto the height adjustment tool. And then this right here will just go back inside of the rubber. Also, right before you install them, even if you don't live in the north or whatever, I do recommend you to put anti-seize on the threads right here. That way, if you ever want to adjust it later, your threads aren't completely ruined and rusted out. So there you go. That easy. So just make sure that your spring is aligned inside your rubber piece at the bottom. All right. Just align it right there. And then I do recommend to use a jack to put everything back up. All right, so yeah, again, make sure that the bottom of your strut is inside of the rubber mounts. Now we can go back up. All right, and up here, we're just gonna put this back in. While I'm doing this, my dad is just putting the bolt back in and tightening the struts at the bottom. And there you go. There's really a big difference. And there you go. That's pretty much it. So yeah, again, make sure to tighten this bolt a lot and the nut holding the strut at the bottom. The back end is really quick to do. I don't know if you guys recall, but last year we also changed the seals inside of the transmission, thinking that it would fix our rough shifting from like second to third gear and fifth to sixth. But we do that. We drive it around and initially it goes well, but as soon as you started going full throttle, it was over, it was done. And after driving a while during the year, it just got worse, I would say. Is it because the transmission was already junk? I don't know. Did the fluid like make it even worse? Maybe. But in my humble opinion, if your transmission is already having like shifting issues, if you think changing the fluid makes it even worse, your transmission was already done. It was already toast. So our last ditch effort at saving this transmission is changing out all the seals with OEM ZF, and we simply have to disassemble the mechatronics a tiny bit, and then we'll be able to head on and install the new solenoids and just put that back into the transmission as fast as possible. If you want to see how to remove the mechatronic unit, just go to my last video. You'll understand. Essentially, we have to flip this around and remove all the bolts holding it down. If you don't know what bolts are holding down like the whole like electronic wiring loom thing, ZF is nice enough to include a diagram. All right, they're supposed to all be the same length. Turn this again. Now we should be able to simply lift this up. I'd be a tiny bit stuck on the dowels. I'm going as slow as I can. Ooh, okay. It was just really stuck on a dowel. Okay. All right, guys, so just be patient. It happens that this plastic just gets stuck. Oh yeah, don't forget that this can slide out. So just be careful with that. We can flip this back again. I'm pretty sure this is a 6HP19Z. Now you just want to remove all of these bolts right here to remove the plate that's holding in all these solenoids. There you go. Now we have access to all our solenoids. I'm not too sure of like if the orientation really matters, but just to be safe, since I don't know, we'll just put them in the same orientation as they were. And I really recommend you guys to go one by one, to do one color at a time. Yellow one out first, this one here. They already come pre-lubed and stuff. That's great. Like that. You can just see like that. This one goes back in just like this. You have to push them quite a bit. Let's get the black one out. And it's essentially the same step for all of them. So let's just keep going. And that's finally all of the solenoids done. You can clearly see like they're discolored. The blue is the most obvious one. Now that is done, you can put back your plate just like this. See that the little indentation goes like this. And also make sure that your solenoids are all aligned. And now you just want to snug these up. And once all of them are snugged up, you want to torque them at 6 Newton meters, which is very low. This prevents you from snapping the bolts because these are very small bolts. So again, T27, 6 Newton meters. There you go. Those are your solenoids all torqued back up. We can just flip this back over. And now just make sure to align your dowel pins inside of the holes. And again, all these bolts are torqued at 6 Newton meters. All right, and then again, just like I said, make sure that your little plunger is aligned with your finger here. It is done, and we are ready to put this back in the car. Now, if you want to see the full step-by-step guide of how I put the mechatronic unit and resealed the pan, that again is all in my other video, so please go watch that right after this one. I just didn't want to bore anyone by putting the same footage, basically, because they're the exact same steps. Yeah, that's what happens when you do things twice. It gets very repetitive. Trust me. Let's see the final results.
Say it louder, say it louder. Feel the moment, feel the power. Bring the animal back to life.
Okay, all right, a bit of a hard jump. After reviewing the footage, I noticed that I didn't even show like us dropping the car. I think I just got a little too excited and I didn't film the part where we actually dropped the car. Now, the final ride height isn't fully set yet. My personal taste is to have the rear end a tiny bit higher because right now it's looking quite flush. And for the front, she looks pretty good. To be honest, guys, she looks great. After the coilovers and like a couple of track days, we will finally be tackling the rust on the body. I think now she's quite dialed in. I hope that the transmission fix will work. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I cannot wait to drive her in the summer. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Peace, everyone.